Hey everybody, CVH here, and today we'll be doing some gameplay of the Reanimator Sorcerer deck I just did a deck tech of in yesterday's video. If you haven't checked that out, I definitely encourage you to do so. I went a little bit more in depth than I probably will in this video at any point about some of the specific card choices, but generally speaking, the deck functions as mid-range Sorcerer with some pretty sweet combos involving discarding or getting some high cost things to the graveyard, this discard pile early, and reanimating them basically with either Falkreath Defiler or Blackworm Necromancer. So that is sort of an alternate, I guess you could call it a win condition. It still just does the mid-rangey thing where we add powerful things to the board as early as possible. But yeah, it doesn't really rely on doing those kind of things. You can play them organically from your hand if the game goes late, but basically we're still going to be trying to curve out on our opponents. Using a lot of the staple Sorcerer cards that we've seen for months and months. If you've been playing in open beta like me, with the Windkeep Spell Swords, the Daggerfall Mages, Mammoths, all that good stuff, and just a couple cards from the new Fall of the Dark Brotherhood set to sort of help us out in that game plan. So yeah, let's hopefully get some cool combos off and see what we play against in today's video. Let's see what Rex is playing. Warrior. So Control Warrior has been very popular recently. A little bit more so, I'd say, than even the aggressive Warrior decks. But a lot of the time when I play against the non-legend, I do say there's definitely a chance he could be playing a very aggro deck just to do the whole get to legend as fast as possible kind of thing. I definitely can't fault anyone for doing that. I think I need a 2-drop. I don't have the Ring of Magicka. Alright, he shipped 2 as well. Well, this is far from an ideal hand. But we do have Little Girl in case it is an aggro deck, a very, very fast aggro deck. And hopefully he wouldn't be running a full complement of a bunch of silences. If it is Control, I mean, we probably will get to the stage of the game where we can play these cards. But it won't be happening anytime soon with this kind of hand. Daggerfall Mage seems fine to me. We can start contesting that right away.
By the 8th, they will meet their makers.
I've seen a lot of the Control Warrior decks not play Young Mammoth, so that kind of hints to a mid-range strategy, but I still, it could be anything at this point. Alright, that definitely hints towards aggression, right? That's a Mage Slayer. So Little Girl, perfectly answered by Earthbone Spinner or Shadowfen Priest. Lightning Bolt functioning as a Firebolt. Kind of a waste of 3 Magicka, if you really think about it like that. I think I'm going to go ahead and Little Girl and pray that it doesn't get silenced. And if it does, we might have an issue.
The forest will not suffer your presence.
Not great. Not great. Not totally useless, since if he doesn't trade with it, we can tome it up and trade, but that is super inefficient. Good Palace Conspirator, try to get a Firebolt off the top. Discard one of these incredibly expensive cards in our hand. We don't, so we could just play Mammoth in the right, actually get a trade on that right away. This is going to trade probably with one of these. 3, 6, 7, 11 damage coming at me next turn. That's not amazing. If we'd gotten the Firebolt, of course, we could have just played Wardcrafter and Firebolt. And that would have been great. That would have been A-okay with me. If we play the Mammoth from the left, he just trades the 4-2 into it, which might eat damage, but again, not as efficient as we can be here. There's a solid chance he would have gone face regardless. We see one of the major potential downsides to this deck being that we've drawn 3 Blood Magic Lords in the top 12. So yeah, let's Lightning Bolt the largest thing on the board. Hope he just sort of blanks his entire turn here. Or plays something we can easily answer, and not a Sower of Revenge. Cringe. We have to silence it. If we had the ring, we could silence it and then shackle it, and that might actually be enough to come back. Not sure that this is, because he can still deal at least 6 to me next turn. I'm taking 5 from it anyway, if I silence it or if I shackle it, but if I silence it, I can actually remove that damage as well.
You must be cleansed.
Found me out, did you?
And that is another card that could potentially just kill us if we leave it around, because we are at 9. That's 3 Mage Slayer attacks. It's gotten in a lot of damage so far. If I'd gotten a lightning bolt for free there, that would have been a pretty big misplay for him. Would have just been free magicka that I wouldn't need to spend next turn. Of course, there's always the chance he just has another sower or something like that regardless. But yeah, we can actually deal with this, I think, for the time being. We can barely stay alive for a little bit longer at least. Using the Harpy Lightning Bolt or Harpy Tome, which I think it's going to be that. We're taking a guaranteed 1 damage. That shouldn't be the difference, I don't think, from living and dying.
Mother of mud.
We have to start trying to kill him too. It's going to be quite difficult.
Display.
Yeah, it's more likely that he just had lethal regardless. Yeah, one thing sticks and Merkle kills me. GG. Actually is the difference sometimes. Not a whole lot to do about that one, though. Not a whole lot to do about that one. Sometimes you get aggro down as a mid-range deck, and this is definitely a deck that can be weak to that. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned it in the deck tech, we're pretty weak on prophecies, and we're a little bit weaker in the early game department than a lot of mid-range decks. So you have to rely on getting sort of the insane curve, or you have to rely on a card like Little Girl Sticking. If you wanted, I guess, more reliance, you could play a Restless Templar or something. The payoff is lower, because it has to die first, and it trades a little bit less efficiently than the Vampire. Still weak to silence, but at least it does trade immediately on board. So a few different ways you could do that. I think we just keep the Conspirator and the Defiler. Seems reasonable enough, and if our goal is to show off some of the cool combos, we should probably play for that. Yeah, with a hand like this against the last opponent, we would have been in a much better situation, I think.
What have we here?
Conspirator will already be trading favorably with that. I say let's dump the Blackworm Necromancer. More than likely, right? Yeah. Obviously, if we get a 9-drop there, we're probably dumping the 9-drop. Makes a lot more sense.
My scales move in shadow.
They cannot hope to outwit me.
Looks like another primarily aggressive deck, the way he's ringing things out quickly. We have the Firebolt. It's not the greatest Firebolt ever, because we can't play anything along with it. We have the Harpy. That's just going to kind of sit there and do nothing. I guess that's going to have to be okay. I still want to use the Firebolt on that more than I want to use the Harpy on it. Because I'm probably using all 4 of my Magicka next turn to set up a Defiler.
What have we here?
Smackface, play the Defiler. He's going to have to make the trade for me if he doesn't want the Defiler to start defiling.
That's the key.
Obviously not a guaranteed Defiler by any means, but if he's going to be doing the trade anyway, there's no real reason for us to do it. Alrighty. Mammoth and Harpy seems adequate enough for me. Sufficient as far as Magic is concerned. It sets up a decent trade with the Harpy with the second half, basically, of that Cliff Racer. Did get a very good trade, though. That's the kind of thing that would have happened regardless, right? Like, we could have played it in the other lane to protect against Cliff Racer. Of course, he could have just done it after it was, you know, uncovered the following turn after the Shadow Lane's effect had worn off. That does sort of give us some information, though, right? That is a very aggressive card. I was thinking maybe it's an altar deck or something. It's kind of unclear. He did take a value trade instead of just going straight for my face. And he's playing Thieves Guild Recruit. I mean, I definitely don't feel too pressured right now, if that's the idea here. Could just start playing camels and searching for our late game. I think that's reasonable. Moving into next turn, I think Night Shadow is kind of where we want to be. I think so. This could be some sort of weird altar deck hybrid, but he's not played a whole lot of cards that would make me think that. I'm pretty sure Lightning Bolt, Thieves Guild Recruit are the only cards I would expect to see in a Swindler's Market deck. Could still be an alter kind of deck, maybe. Seems more aggressive than I would anticipate for that, though. Alright, we got the Windkeep Spellsword, which means we could just go Falkreath Defiler Spellsword if we want. You'd be forced to answer the Defiler. Assassin doesn't really have silences. It does have a lot of removal. I think I like it. This does get answered by a single Shackle, and at least we'll have the Spellsword over there to keep trading.
Steal from folks who ain't using it. That's the key.
I think tentatively we're in an okay spot. It would be nice to find some 9-drops though. If not just for like the Defiler, obviously we could get to play them in a couple turns at this point.
If I fall, the Hist will reclaim me.
Sanctuary Pet is not bad here. So no matter what I do, the Defiler is going to die. I can deal with the Pet, I can deal with the Whereabout, but I cannot deal with them both. So should I deal with either of them? Because I could just trade my 2-2 into the 2-1 Wardcrafter and develop Little Girl and Daggerfall Mage, which seems reasonably okay to me.
Can you please?
By the 8th, they will meet their maker.
Found you.
Unfortunately, my camel has fought the good fight. It's did its damage. It's did its 1 point of damage. And now it's going to get eaten by that Fighter's Guild recruit. The camel definitely not a card that trades efficiently often. And this is a lot of drain. In all honesty, this is kind of a problem if I ever want to resolve a Black Room Necromancer. Let's hope he doesn't have one of those. Firebolts, I mean. If he whipped out a Black Room Necromancer here, I'd be more than surprised, and I'd probably have to send in a support ticket to Direwolf. It's thinking hard. I mean, if it's a Firebolt, it's going right to the Little Girl. Cliff Racer, okay.
By the 8th, they will meet their maker.
I think this is kind of looking good. I think we can sort of ride the Little Girl to, well, maybe not victory, but definitely something close. And we have Night Shadow, Firebolt, Harpy, which seems like a fine play to me. So, and I'll just trade there.
So trusting.
Play Night Shadow in the right as well. Play Harpy in the left to contest that. It's like one of the more expendable things we could do. And we're going to Shackle down the Daggerfall Mage and Firebolt this to hopefully keep all of our drain alive. This is quite the interesting game. He's drained for a bunch, and we're poised to do the same kind of thing. And he's going face there because he knows I have to probably make that trade, which is fair. I mean, that's exactly what I would do in the same spot, but, you know, this is one of the more efficient things we could actually trade into that, as crazy as that does sound. So we could just run out the Atromancer now and get completely wrecked by exactly Ice Storm if he has exactly Ice Storm, because he will be able to easily trade into that. I don't think this is an Ice Storm deck. I really don't. With the cards like the Kinsman and the Pets and all that stuff, I could be surprised. I could definitely be surprised. I've been surprised by less before. And we have a lot of threats in this deck, so I'm tempted to just do it. Tempted to just go in, swing for the 8.
Your pain is delicious.
Draining while we do so. Because at the moment we have a lot more reload potential. We have more Atromancers in the deck, Blood Magic Lords, Cycle to get us there. I think it's all good. And it's definitely the highest impact play we have in our hand. It's not even a debate whether or not it's worse for us if he doesn't have exactly Ice Storm here. Alright, he doesn't, because that trade would not have happened. Well, he who Atromancers first generally feels better about themselves, and I'm feeling okay right now. We can play 2 of our 4-drops and the Haunting Spirit. One of our 4-drops has to be Lightning Bolt on his Atromancer. He could be playing more. Like, could have more. Obviously, he'd be playing probably more than one, I would assume. That trade is probably just going to happen. good tome target would be one of these on that. I think we'll tome up the Daggerfall. I think that's better than playing the Camel this turn. Alright, we have a play for next turn.
Sheor take you.
Did we want the breakthrough there? That might have been better. He'd still more than likely have to trade with this unless he had Firebolt, but if he has Firebolt, we kind of get the same situation anyway, so that was probably just missed 2 points of damage, or excuse me, 3 points of damage. Hopefully not too relevant. The question is whether or not I give him more cards here, and I'm kind of scared to. Because I can simply play like this and leave him at 26. Significantly decreasing the chances of getting second Atromancered. Well, not too significantly, but I think that matters here. And if he does have Atromancer, I'd want to put this in the same lane as this so I can have a much better trade on the 5-3 that would go in this lane. That's fine with me.
I see you're in need of
Guard is fine. Regenerate is a bit annoying, actually. That is a bit unfortunate. It's a good regenerate. Alright, we have Blood Magic Lord this turn, and that seems good for me. We can trade here and try to keep this alive. We have no reason to really buff this up. Alright, kept it alive, that's good. We will be giving him another card here. In this lane. Corpse Curse, perfect, I think. That's about as good as they come. %100% okay with rolling Corpse Curse there. Yeah, Raise Dead in this deck can be kind of questionable compared to something like a Ram Scout, for sure. A lot of 2-drops and 3-drops that are really, really powerful on turns 2 and 3, and less so moving into these kind of turns. Oh, this could be a powerful Sage. It needs to, though, because he's out of cards after this. Ward, Breakthrough. That's fine. Charge is less than great. That could be really powerful. He needs to top deck an answer to it. So let's play the Camel. Or do we just go for this trade first? I really want to try to get a Shadowfen Priest off of this Camel. We have 2 more in the deck. We're seeing 3 cards out of 27. That would be pretty huge. Or a Wardcrafter, actually. And both of those are really good. So let's play the Camel. Wow, I really don't want to discard my other 2 Atromancers. That would be a bummer. A bummer and a half. But if we take an Atro, we are giving... I need to take Night Shadow here, I think. I think I just need to take the Night Shadow. Play the slow game. Makes Raise Dead a hell of a lot better. Night Shadow allows me to effectively race consistently and stay Magicka efficient. At least we're making Raise Dead good again.
Your blood will feed my magic.
I'll make the attempt.
I am a child.
I'll make the Gargoyle attempt. Attempt to block this 8 damage with our 2-drop. And then get a favorable on the remaining 4 attack dude next turn with the Night Shadow. I think it's a valiant effort there. That could be the swing turn we need if he doesn't top deck something crazy. Please don't have top deck something crazy. These are the kind of turns that make you rage when you lose to him because you know exactly what the situation on board is and you know they need something crazy in order to stay in the game on board. And that's not something crazy, so I think we might be good. Does kill my my thing next turn. A little bit sad for me. Not gonna go crazy about it. We could actually take an extra card here. I like the extra card. It could keep this alive. And by extra card, I mean not an extra card because I forgot we had healed a lot. That's my miscalculation. We get to the same place every time though. And we're always gonna play this over here. We're always gonna play this over here because it doesn't matter if he kills that, that would be a mistake. And we can just play this over here as well, set up for maybe a Firebolt or something like that. Some merit to playing it over here because Fighters Guild could trade with this and it would be bad for me, but that same thing could happen in this lane. and be a little bit unfortunate no matter what. Well, that's sad for me. I think at this point we start punching. Attack with this first.
People are so trusting.
Drain. And let's get rid of this Leaf Lurker before it takes an even trade with my Mammoth. Back to 25. Feeling okay about this.
By the 8th, they will meet their makers.
Yeah, 2 Black Robe Necromancers that we can actually play now. Oh wow, Heirloom Greatsword. We can't let the game, we can't let the game go on too far anymore because that card could potentially get us. Dealing 7 puts him into 3rd Bolt range, or Atromancer range, but clearly that's not something that's going to happen. So we could just take a trade, we could Firebolt, take that, 2 damage, deal 5 this turn, set up to kill him next turn. We know he has a Tome and a Greatsword, both of which require a creature to be active, so yeah, I kind of like this. Firebolt's one of the worst draws in our deck, so we can at least get some amount of value off of it before it's completely dead. That means we only give him 1 extra card through the runes at least. He does have the Tome now, but again, without a creature, it's not the best. So 3 unknown cards. And a Greatsword and a Tome. Let's see if we can overcome that at least. Because we got wrecked by that aggro deck before now. And that's something that's probably going to happen. If you guys don't know the typical mid-range matchups, we are primarily aggressive deck that's good at preying on control because of all of our threats, and a lot of those threats do nothing when you're behind, which tends to be the case against aggro. So he is going to be cycling. We're very close to killing him. We have 2 Blood Magic Lords, 3 that's disappointing. 3 Black Robe Necromancers left in the deck. I guess this might have been the worst draw last turn. If we consider that we wanted to go face for more. Well, either way, it's the worst draw this turn. No, Firebolt's still the worst. No, that was the last Firebolt, so this is the worst draw now. We've successfully found the 2 worst draws in the deck because this will simply mill me for the next card. And if the next card is high impact, it might maybe lose us the game if the next card is like a Black Robe Necromancer or one of the remaining Blood Magic Lords. Or the 3rd Lightning Bolt, you know, God forbid that be the 3rd Lightning Bolt. If it's another useless card, we benefit because we get closer to ending the game, and this card does attack, right? Assuming he doesn't have an answer to it, and we haven't seen a whole lot of reactive cards in his deck. We need to kind of, like, give ourselves the opportunity to play this card, just to try to kill him. But first, let's attack. First, let's do that. Seen 2 Fighters Guild recruits, I guess I'll play around this one. I need to play it to set up lethal in the right. It just needs to happen.
I shall be your eyes and ears.
If that was in my hand instead of this Conspirator, besides having a legitimate chance to just win the game on the spot with an Atromancer or Blood Magic Lord into Raise Dead, I would have had a much harder to deal with board. Looks like he's found an answer. He's playing quickly. He's not really thinking too much. Alright, so Shut Off and Priest, Lightning Bolt. 3rd Black Room into one of the aforementioned damage-dealing cards. These are my outs. I say that like I'm dead on board if I don't happen to win this turn. Which isn't true.
Found me out, did you?
It's not something I want to do is trade 1 for 1 with a Leaf Lurker and an Heirloom Greatsword. If he has a Snaketooth Necklace in his deck, then he is just going to get me with it. If he has double Swift Strike, he is just going to get me with that. I mean, we have outs, of course, but probably going to get me with that. This is quite the long game. For 2 decks that seem a little bit aggressive, all that drain this game. Well, this is also a high impact draw, obviously. Very good top deck for us.
Elements, I summon thee.
And while this is very good, without being accompanied by a Snaketooth Necklace, I'm not sure how good it could possibly be. Harpy would be bad again. Harpy's another one of those horrible things for us. We do still have outs. Hopefully I get one here. I've still drained too much. I still just can't remember that I've drained too much. So now I need to get exactly Lightning Bolt. I think. He has barely lethal. Barely, because this is just still in the way. So the third Harpy could potentially save me if he can't just dump a few things on the board. Lightning Bolt just kills him.
By the 8th, they will meet their maker.
It's a pretty nuts game.
The forest is my cloak.
Alright, well if he can't drain, and it doesn't look like he really can, let's just get Lightning Bolt in the next couple cards. Right here. Alright, well he needs to break another rune, unfortunately for him.
Shall curse you.
We tried, guys. We tried and we couldn't find the Lightning Bolt. One of the toughest turns was probably when we cameled, and we had to choose between either second or third Atromancer and the Night Shadow. If we weren't already a little bit behind on board and felt like we needed the consistent drain, would have been a pretty easy Atromancer take there, and I think that probably would have helped us seal the game in the long run. But in the short term, Night Shadow felt correct there. But yeah, that's a little bit of games with the Reanimator Sorcerer deck. Unfortunately, couldn't take a win in this video and lost a good amount of legend ranks from that, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how it usually goes against aggro. If you guys are looking to play this deck, if you're looking for a good deck against aggro, I do not recommend this deck particularly, but it's a lot of fun against slower decks. I felt like we had a lot of game in that last match, and I've had a lot of success with it against slower warrior variants, slower scout variants, so I still encourage you to check it out. It's good to get a handle on how it wins, how it loses as well. So feel free to leave a like if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment, feel free to stay subscribed to the YouTube channel for more strategy videos, gameplay videos, deck techs, etc. Leave a follow at the stream link in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time.